Hey guys, I'm Mick.
I'm Mike.
Today we are going to be talking about something super different.
Since we've moved our studio, we've had more time to go through some of the stuff that I've had stocked away at my place. And just last week, we kind of were going through my Sailor Moon collection, and I realized that I have a ton of Sailor Moon cells. Now, what people don't know about cells is that they were actually used to produce the actual animation. So there was a ton of cells created per frame, per episode, and so forth. And usually cells were destroyed by the production company after an episode was completed, or they were put into archive, and then after they're just destroyed. So a lot of these cells have been popping up over the internet for the last 20 something years, and I just ended up diving into cell collecting as a kind of like art. I look at it as art.
It's so impressive.
I look at it as like collecting art of my favorite TV show.
Like, I don't collect them, but I do vicariously through Mike because I love looking at them. I think they're so impressive, and you think back to that scene and you remember watching it and you're like, wow, like that was used in that specific moment, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, so most of the cells that I do collect are scenes that I find super important, or they're characters that I love. I used to have this thing when I started collecting that I would only collect villains because I loved villains. And that later transformed when I started seeing some Sailor Moon cells that were super rare at really good prices on eBay or from certain sites that you can buy cells off of. So that kind of broke. But I don't have that many, but most of my collection are Sailor Moon villains.
If you guys end up enjoying this and you want to see more, just make sure to let us know, because we can pick out a few and maybe do like a episode kind of thing and go through some cells.
And let us know if you remember these scenes as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with season 1, Sailor Moon. And I have a vintage Queen Beryl cell.
We took a whiteboard just to show you. So basically it's on a clear plastic.
Yeah.
And just to show you guys how
on the back, it's been painted. So it's an actual painted cell. And then usually at the top right corner, it's they're all usually numbered. And the numbers range from A, B, and C. Usually when you get an A cell, it's kind of like a top quality cell or a top quality scene. A B is more of a filler scene or a filler sketch, and a C cell is something that is more common and used in everyday episodes.
It's a little hard because of the glare, but you guys can kind of see the expression she has on her face. It's just so cool.
So this is from the episode the episode right before the episode 46, I think, or 45, when Queen Beryl throws this huge giant crystal at Sailor Moon to kill her, and then Prince Darien wakes up and then he shoots a rose and it goes and it stabs her in the heart. So it's right before this happens, and it's a great scene. Usually every cell comes with the, when you collect them online, if you're lucky, you'll get a cell, and then you'll also get the original sketch of that cell, so you can see all of the different line work. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, if it's picking it up.
And then basically this would go over
what they trace and paint on.
And then you can kind of...
Next. This is one of my favorites, and this is one of my more recent ones. But everyone should know this scene. And it is Queen Beryl charging up her power, trying to destroy Princess Serenity as she tries to save the world from destruction. And this again is an A scene. And another thing with cells is that they do come sometimes with the actual background that they animated with. So this is apparently the actual background. It's a watercolor wash of the cloudy sky during that
amazing.
Scene.
The colors are
and it just gives it when you can find a cell that has the actual background, it just gives it so much more life. So imagine this framed, it would be insane. So we have that, and then also again there's the sketch that follows it with all of the production notes. So you have Queen Beryl, you have the drawing, you have some Japanese text over here, and you have also something that says high contrast, which was maybe for the color toning or when they would be filming it, and it's just stunning.
I never knew why they didn't make any figure or doll or anything of this version of Beryl.
I don't know either.
Right?
There's so many epic Sailor Moon stuff that they could have just went beyond just the Sailor Scouts. I consider them works of art. They're
I actually love the notes on them and stuff. I feel
The
like
notes
it gives
are the
it, like,
best
a little
part.
bit more.
There's different
Yeah.
types of cells that you can get. You can get where you have like the sketches and then you get the notes. There's also a timesheet paper. Some of my cells have that as well, where you see the sequencing and where it's supposed to fit so that they wouldn't lose track of which cells had to go through the machine at what time. And then that would have like a toy stamp of approval on it as well. Lots of things. There's a lot of things that I don't know about animation, but I just love learning it through this collecting of Sailor Moon. Next, I have one of my favorite characters as well.
She is.
And my favorite villain,
Yeah.
and everyone loves it, and Mick loves her. So
I love Cathy. I mean, I'm more attached to the I guess,
Sailor Moon R.
or the English version
Yeah.
of the show and her character and what she goes through, and it's like, oh,
So, Mick, I'll let you do the honors. Show her, and I'll just explain.
so beautiful.
So we have Cathy over here, and it's an A cell as well. I believe, I don't know exactly the episode, but I do believe this is one of the first times you see her in the series, where they just end up lining up all of like the sisters. So at the back you can see that that's how it was painted,
So cool.
and it goes through layer by layer by layer. And then again with the sketch, and seems to have been some water damage on this one, which is normal. It is 20 years old.
And it's like fully painted.
Yeah, it's fully painted. And then also when you look at it, like look at that. This is a pencil drawing, guys, and you can see the full detail and like the different line colors for like what they needed to shade or emphasize. It's just amazing. And you know what? If people wanted to get these tattooed on them, you could end up photocopying this and have like somebody tattoo an actual cell piece.
Cathy battling Sailor Mars.
Yes.
Before she was healed, like
Before she was
that.
I actually have the cell from there.
The voice acting of the English version and like the emotion that is felt is just, I don't know, I think it's amazing. I
It's very, we get very nostalgic.
And it's just so good. I'm like, I remember it like, and I watch it still now, and I'm like, wow, it's so deep, and I love it, and it's amazing.
Okay, okay, so I have two more. They're from the same episode. So this is, again, I don't collect many Sailor Scouts, so this is the only Sailor Scout cell that I do have. So there's the first part of the cell, which is Sailor Moon, and she's running, in this scene, she's running in the chapel in the Super series. This is when they're battling Edgewell and they're trying to get the chalice. So this is when Sailor Moon is running to get the chalice.
Without the backing?
Yeah, and then also this cell came with, is this it? So this is the front. So then this is the hallway that she's running in, and you can see that this aspect is where all of the dark stuff would have been, and then underneath it would have changed. So this is pretty epic. So I hope you guys are enjoying this.
It's really.
I'm loving to share this with you guys, and I'm getting really excited just looking at them again. It's just sad that you can't really display cells. Like you can frame them, you can put them into like these protective kind of like frames that have like super thick glass so that there's no like sun damage or erosion, because all the paint does evaporate and erode after time.
Right.
So a lot of Sailor Moon cells have most of the black turn into this like orangey kind of color, and that's because of the erosion of the cell and time and everything. So usually you have to keep them in like a binder, in like a closed off, like no natural light, just to make sure that you keep them as pristine. So I have, you can see behind the sketch and then the cell of her locket, and this is when her locket transforms. When she like grabs the chalice and like the light explosion comes out and then it transforms and she transforms into Super Sailor Moon for the first time. I'm so sad. You see guys, you have to take really good care of your cells. Like I can, I don't know. No, it's like fully, this one's
it's like
ruined.
it was compressed over
it's
time.
It's because of the heat.
It merged with the paper.
Merged with the paper.
That's okay. Lesson learned. We'll have to check all the
Lesson learned not to go get. I'm gonna go get like file folders and keep them all in file folders separately.
Yeah, some of these you've had for a really long time.
I've had them for at least like 10, 15 years
Yeah,
now.
I remember being in like high school when you were collecting these.
Exactly. And high school was a very long time ago for us.
No, not that long, but yeah, a long time. Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed this Sailor Moon cell
Review, debut,
exhibit of Mike's collection. If you want to see more of his cells, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, and you could follow us on
Instagram at Mick and Mikke.
and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.